Now, to an air traffic controller strike that's been causing turbulence in the skies around Ethiopia's international airport, an important East Africa hub. Sarah's still here to tell us more about this.
That's right. I'm just trying to bring up the details there now. Well, we're getting reports that most of the strikers are now back at work after a controversial deal with the Ethiopian Aviation Authority, but 9 are still under arrest for choosing to walk out in the first place. And the pay dispute appears now to have created another problem, this time around air safety. So how did all this begin? Well, last Monday, air traffic controllers stopped working, saying they needed better salaries, working conditions, and overtime pay. On average, they are paid $540 a month, a lot less than the $2,000 a month in neighboring Kenya for doing that same job. Now, the Ethiopian government says the strike is illegal and arrested some of them for disrupting air traffic. Now, while the strike was going on, Al Jazeera was contacted by OpsGroup. It's an organization of 4,000 pilots, dispatchers, and controllers from around the world who raised the alarm about flight safety risks in the skies around Ethiopia's international airport. And the Ethiopian airline, working with the Aviation Authority, put out this statement saying it had replaced strikers with other employees, brought air traffic controllers out of retirement, and enlisted help from other countries as well. And it maintains that its airspace was and continues to be safe. Well, this video shared online is said to show radar images of the moment 2 airplanes were headed for each other. Now, we're not able to independently verify that video, but OpsGroup says the aircrafts entered the same airspace in Ethiopia because pilots hadn't received the right instructions. But in the end, an accident was avoided, they say, thanks to the safety systems in both the aircrafts. Now, the head of the Aviation Authority called the questions raised around flight safety a lie, adding air traffic controllers around the world have the tendency to collaborate in a show of solidarity when issues related to benefits pay are raised. And we have informed this to the International Civil Aviation Body. Well, we heard from Mark Z earlier. He's the founder of OpsGroup.
We're very concerned in OpsGroup about the situation. The critical issue that we are worried about is the trustworthiness of information that is coming from the Civil Aviation Authority in Ethiopia. In a normal operating environment, airline equals commerce and aviation authority equals safety, and the two keep each other in check. Here, the two have merged, and the airline is being allowed to lead the response to this air traffic control strike, which naturally, massive conflict of interest. Probably our biggest concern is that they're not making aircrew that use the airspace aware of this risk. In the last week, 95% of the controllers were off the job. That means that for any flight over flying Ethiopia or landing in Addis, the person you're talking to is not an air traffic controller. And most crews are not aware of that. There's no NOTAMs, there's no notices to airmen. What there is instead is vehement declarations from the airline and the Civil Aviation Authority that its operation's normal. And that is simply wrong, misleading, and unsafe. Air traffic control is not some back office function. It's a complex job. It requires years of training and experience. And when you try to swap those people out with volunteers, you create naturally an unsafe situation. We simply want all aircrew to be given the full risk picture so that they can make up their own mind as to what's safe.
Well, if you're in Ethiopia or have a story you think is worth sharing with us, then you'll find us on all the main social media platforms. And I'm on Twitter @Sarah Khairat.